understand anger, and some people might have been angry when I was president. But anger shouldn't drive policy.
Former President George W. Bush giving stern advice to the incoming administration. Hi and good evening. I'm Steve Eager. First on Fox 4 News at 5:30 tonight. President-elect Donald Trump says current trade agreements are killing jobs in America. And he's promised to tear up some trade deals, throw out others, and renegotiate some like NAFTA. Today, former President Bush made his pitch about keeping NAFTA and other trade policies. Fox 4's Sean Rabb in our newsroom right now with more on this story. Sean?
Hey, Steve. Since leaving office, the 43rd president has gone to great pains to stay clear of adding his voice to political commentary. Today, while speaking to leaders from across North America, he didn't really go into who won Election Day, but did touch on the why. Then he doubled down on what he doesn't want to happen when it comes to trade and the economy.
I don't think it's helpful for the country to have a former president criticize successors. It's a hard job to begin with.
Former President George W. Bush saying he would not grade President-elect Donald Trump or other White House successors like the one soon leaving 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
Now, look, I understand anger, and some people might have been angry when I was president. But anger shouldn't drive policy.
But said the anger that put Trump over the top should not steer decisions about how we engage in a global economy. His comments to business and policy leaders from the U.S., Canada, and Mexico.
The job of a president is to recognize that trade encourages growth, and fair trade is important for the workers.
And he defended NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Agreement, which Mr. Trump has criticized as the worst trade deal in U.S. history.
You know, somebody said NAFTA is a 4-letter word. No, it's a 5-letter word.
NAFTA, Bush said, has created 30 million jobs, adding the expanded trade, closed wage gaps, while changing the economic health of Mexico.
There's a thriving middle class on both sides of the Rio Grande River. It's in our interests as a nation that be the case.
And Bush says the three nations working together can compete in a global economy against a resource-rich China.
One of the things that's important to understand is that the United States workers, the Mexican workers, the Canadian workers work together to make products to sell to the world. It's a win-win-win.
And that win-win-win can play out in global trade through pacts like NAFTA if they have a chance.
We're at an interesting moment about do we build on the strengths or not? And our group here believes we ought to build on the strengths.
So he called it an interesting moment, Stephen. One of the other statistics Mr. Bush gave us today is that workers of companies that engage in trade, those employees, he said, earn 18% more than folks in similar jobs at corporations and businesses, small businesses, where trade is not a factor.
Sean, let's fact check some of the former president's stuff today. He said that NAFTA created 30 million new jobs. I'm not sure where he's talking about those jobs because the Congressional Research Service, nonpartisan, works for Congress to find things out. So the net overall effect of NAFTA for the U.S. economy, modest, U.S. jobs, flat.
So I think the 30 million number includes jobs across North America and other ancillary spin-offs as a result of NAFTA being in place. Maybe not all directly tied to NAFTA, but ancillary to NAFTA being in place.
So Mexico and Canada included in those. Yeah, and that's kind of the talk that got, I think, Trump elected president. All right, Mr. Bush has stayed, as you mentioned in your story, relatively silent on politics for 8 years. And since Donald Trump got in the arena, said he wasn't going to vote for him, said he didn't vote for him, and now the NAFTA talk today. Is he re-entering the political arena, or is it Donald Trump, his focus?
So I don't think he's re-entering the political arena. He made it clear from the onset, I'm not one to talk about successors. The job is difficult enough. I do think he's been moved in this case, and now I think he's making his argument to try and defend NAFTA, keep NAFTA in place, as well as Mr. Trump has talked about the TPP and other pacts that he says he's going to start over or throw out. Mr. Bush is saying we cannot do that. We're globally connected as economy.